Hello, Pete Lockett here. We're going to look at shakers in this episode in Rhythm magazine, online and in print. So shakers are kind of a pretty standard thing. Every percussionist is going to have shakers in their kit bag when they go to sessions and gigs. Everyone's under the kind of illusion that shakers are easy to play, but the number of times I've been in the studio and had to replace shakers that someone's put down as someone in the band or the drummer or someone like that, and it's quite an amazing thing really. But a shaker is almost like a kind of bonding agent between various elements of the track. It can kind of pull lots of different things together. So actually being able to play shaker in a kind of meaningful way is really quite an art, and does take a little bit of time. Of course, you can't compare it to the complexity of North Indian tabla or an instrument like that. But all the same, shakers have a lot of skill involved when it comes to actually making a track actually work. So there are of course many different shakers. There are maracas with incredible Venezuelan technicians who play amazing maracas. There are kashishi, many different types of shakers. The shakers we're going to be looking at in this next couple of episodes is the cylindrical shaker. Now here we have a cylindrical shaker. This is by LP. This is one of my favourite shakers. Very delicate sort of sound. Now shakers come in all shapes and sizes. This is a much heavier. You'll notice how much heavier the sound of this shaker is in comparison to. There's a lot more beads and stuff inside that shaker. This is a shaker that I made myself, which is actually, I made this about 30 years ago, I think, and I've used it on more recordings than probably anything that I've ever used as a shaker. This is actually a Sharwood's curry spice pot, and it's full of mung beans, or half full of mung beans, and it's really great. Really great staccato, shaker sound. Now, one of the shakers that I use a lot as well is this LP Cyclops shaker, which is particularly for louder live gigs. It's really good, and also for sound effects, kind of like rain stick sort of swells and stuff like that. It's really useful. It's a really loud shaker. See how much louder than the other ones it is. So it's a shaker that I really like, and I use it a lot. I'm going to use it to do this first set of lessons. Now, it's actually really tricky if you've got a long track. I remember the first time I was in the studio and doing a shaker track, and a shaker on a track, and it was 5 minutes long. And I thought, the studio person, will you put some shaker on? Okay, you start with the shaker, put a bed down, and work on top of that. So anyway, I was at like 2 minutes into it, and your arm is literally dropping off. So it's also a bit of a workout, not only for one arm, of course, unless you do two shakers, one in each hand, and then you got complete workout. So anyway, the first thing to get together is a simple backwards and forwards motion that is hurtling the beans or the innards onto the outside shell and then back again. Now this shaker is really good to demonstrate these specific movements, and you want to start off very slowly so you get a very definite attack point on the outward and inbound strikes. So this is example 1, which is just basically eighth notes with an even backwards and forwards motion with no accents. Now you can see with this shaker, I'm holding it with my fingers to balance it. With a different type of shaker, the hand position again is quite similar. So, just a simple back switch, just throwing it away from yourself with a definite movement and back again. And the arm's actually quite stiff. It's not one of those instruments where you're that, it's kind of all relaxed and you're, flowing. That's quite a kind of stiff motion in a way. Now this 8th note shaker pattern is a shaker pattern that you don't really hear that often, but it's a shaker pattern that is really, really useful on a track. It really does kind of lays down a really great solid rhythmic bed, and then when you switch into a double time shaker pattern, that kind of really does open things up. So although we look at this, and this is example 1, and you think it's 8th notes, and then you'll probably think, oh, I want to go on to 16th notes. I'm not, really see a value in that. This is, I use this 8th note shaker pattern as much as I use any, any 16th note. So now we can start to get some accents into this pattern. So we're going to add an accent, as example 2, on beat 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you'll notice the thing that defines the accent is that merely I'm simply travelling further to get the accent and bring that out. Now let's put that accent on the beat. For example 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so far we've been looking at 8th notes. So now we can start to go up and add 16th notes into the mix. So this is exactly the same motion but faster. So again, you can do this without accents. Or you can add accents in either on the beat or off the beat. Or on the beat. Then you can start to combine the 8th note pattern and the 16th note pattern. So if we look at example 5, we're just going to go from 1 bar of 8th notes to 1 bar of 16th notes. 3, 4, and. Right, now we've got this far, we can go back to that same pattern, the 8th notes, 2 bars of 8th notes or 1 bar of 8th notes and 2 bar or 1 bar of 16th notes, and we can start to add accents into the mix. Now one thing I haven't mentioned about the accents is that because of the motion of playing the accent away from you, you kind of get a slight accent on the note before. So have a listen. You kind of get that extra accent. It's kind of hard to avoid and becomes part of the lilt of the shaker pattern actually. But you play it in such a way as to not overemphasize the additional note. So now let's look at the 8th note and 16th note shaker patterns together with the accent on the downbeats. Or we can play that the other way round and have those accents on the upbeats, so on the 2 and 4, or on the and of each quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. So that's the introduction for now for the basic building blocks of shaker patterns. Next time we're going to look on to some other additional techniques and some rolls and different stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed this introduction into the world of shakers. They are incredibly useful to get into your repertoire, even with the drum set playing. Bass drum, snare drum, hi-hat and right-hander shaker is a very cool sound, and you're kind of seeing more and more of that stuff recently. So hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I'll see you soon.